You know, I'll be really surprised at this point. I mean, I think the fad's always been shitting on superhero movies recently. So this is what this article says from Looper. Aquaman 2. What the worst critic reviews said about Jason Momoa's DC movie sequel. With the release of Aquaman, The Lost Kingdom. Hold on. Pause. Sorry, I had to pee. It looks like the DCEU is officially dead. They finally give up that shit. That boring ass shit. They were going nowhere with it. The sequel, which is the final film left over from Zack Snyder's cinematic universe, has not been welcomed with open arms by critics, and it currently sits at an unimpressive 39% on Rotten Tomatoes. This is in stark contrast to the first Aquaman film. Before we continue, let's check that Aquaman thing. 36 from critics, 79 from audience score. Ooh, that is a big difference. That is a big difference. The critics could be wrong here. I personally haven't seen it myself, so no opinions on me. But I'm not surprised if it's ass. I mean, Jeremy Johns, who I follow for movie reviews, said himself that he'd rather watch this than the Marvels. And I mean, that's also not a surprise statement to make because the Marvels just suck. All three characters in there suck. Miss Marvel sucks, Captain Marvel sucks, and I forgot the third woman's name. Even though I like WandaVision. Hey, let's continue the thing. This is a stark contrast to the first Aquaman film, which received a much higher score of 66% from critics and 72% from standard reviewers. To make matters even worse, the assessments from many critics who have seen the superhero tentpole are unkind to say the least. The entire affair is so painfully formulaic, predictable, and unoriginal that it feels as if a Fast and Furious film was staged underwater. I mean, if you put it that way, I want to see that. I mean, I like Fast and the Furious films. Call me a normie, but I enjoy those films. Um, yeah, we won't go into that. That could be for another video. Um, Rotten Tomatoes top critic John Durman, don't care about the names, of Above the Line went one step further, delivering a truly brutal approximation of Aquaman and the Lost Kingdom in his review. Not one part of this movie, he says, the effects, the storyline, the emotional core works. He wrote, everything is recycled from other superhero movies. It's time to give the genre an at-sea burial. Not surprising there. I mean, what else could you do for superhero movies? Although, Madam Web seems to be going a different route. I like that trailer so far. That's kind of what I actually wish from Moon Knight. Moon Knight's first episode was amazing, and then it just became another Marvel generic shit. If they continue what they did in the first episode, that would have been super good, but they didn't. So, meanwhile, The Independent described Aquaman as the latest entry in a rogue galleries of brainless franchise films, pointing it out an example of how to execute meddling could ruin one's promising vision. You know, growing up in the 90s, brainless films used to be slasher flicks. Each one was the same as the next, but you look forward to certain kills, how creative they could be. I feel that's what superhero movies are. It's like that, but you don't have that creative aspect. Each one is the same. They don't do anything differently. So that's why I kind of wish they went a more mature route, so we can actually see superheroes do really creative kills. Because otherwise, all you get is just the same fights, the same storylines, nothing different. So it just becomes the slasher films of the 21st century. I hope I'm expressing this point clear enough. But I think some of you know what I mean. Back in the 90s, we just had one genre that was just really ass, but fun to watch. That's what superheroes should be as well. Something that's very, very ass genre, but it's fun to watch. They're not fun at the moment. They're all very bland and boring. No one's being creative with anything they're doing, which really sucks. Because we had some really good ones towards the end there. Anyway, putting it out. So, director James Wan had, at one point, confidently set his sights on making a spin-off horror film, The Trench, focused on a mysterious eldritch rival to Aquaman's home, Atlantis, but instead has had to clumsily condense those other ideas into the foreground for the franchise returning black villain, Black Manta, she wrote. You see, I heard this news somewhere else that James Wan had this vision, right, to make like a horror version of this thing, but then James Gunn was introduced to the script writing as well, and he added in jokes and Marvel humor, which muddied up the water of the script writing. Because in another review, I heard that people were actually excited about Black Manta's return to see his revenge plot, but it didn't really happen. So the movie came off as two different tones, and that's the result of what happens when you get two different writers into the same script. Another especially crushing review came from top critic Liz Shannon Miller of Consequence. Did anyone involved with the making of Aquaman and the Lost Kingdom even want to make an Aquaman movie? She wanted. Even Jason Momoa, a guy whose entire vibe is "I'm happy to be here," visibly struggles to wring any sense of enjoyment out of a scene. And that's true, he is a really happy-go-lucky guy. With this in mind, it sounds like just about everything that was praised about James Wan's original Aquaman has failed to tread water in the sequel, which was a staggering 5 years in the works. Still, not everyone was harsh towards the film, as aforementioned critics. It's fine, it's fun, it's boring sometimes, wrote Julia Grassman. It's bright, colourful, and kind of clumsy. If you're looking for somewhere to spend 2 hours of a chilly winter day, then Atlantis might be a good place as any. I heard the it's bright, it's colourful. I heard the CGI was really bad too. It didn't even look bad in the trailer. Unfortunately, even many of the film's more positive takes, such as the one above, read as middling at the best of their praise. So they're trying to say mid? Middling. Whatever. As much as many DC fans may decide to simply wait for the film's inevitable appearance on Max, especially after the similar disappointment of The Flash. I heard The Flash was even better from this. I think that's what Jeremy Johns said. Well, that's the end of this article. What do you guys think about Aquaman 2? Is it worth watching? I'm no interest about these guys. Let us know in the comments below. Peace!